gotta do what I gotta do.
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the MMA Rundown. My name is Ben Gordon. I'll be your host again. This week we're going to be going over the results at UFC London, and this was a really busy combat sports weekend. There was the UFC in London, there was World Series of Fighting, which I'm not going to be covering in this episode, the Gennady Golovkin fight as well, that's not going to be covered in this episode. But I will be covering a couple of the main fights on UFC London, including Brad Pickett's retirement, Gunnar Nelson's win, where he'll go from there, the NCAA wrestling brackets, and the NCAA wrestling championships, those happened, so we'll cover that. Conor versus Floyd, Mighty Mouse, and a few other big topics from over the week. So to start off, we'll look at the UFC London results, and I'm just going to go from the bottom of the card to the top, make some quick comments where I feel necessary. So the first fight of the night was Lena Landsberg versus Lucy Pudilova. Landsberg won this fight 29-28 on all three judges' scorecards. Now, it looked like Pudilova was coming on strong towards the end. I think Landsberg won the first round. Second round seemed pretty close, but the third round definitely went to Lucy. I was surprised to see Lucy lost this fight. She was also pretty surprised. On Twitter afterwards, she was posting a bunch of pictures, kind of saying as much. So she was posting before and after pictures of Lena Landsberg and being like, I sent this bitch to the hospital, ha 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 ha. And I mean, I guess if you lose a fight you thought you won, that's what you would think to do. I don't know if that's something that you necessarily want to do, but it was kind of fun and kind of funny to see. In the next fight, there was Bradley Scott defeating Scott Askin by split decision. Not really the most exciting fight there. The fight after that, much different. Mark Jacasey versus Teemu Packalén. Jacasey was just coming out, throwing a bunch of spinning kicks, just getting really aggressive. Packalén seemed a little bit tentative, and Jacasey caught him with the right hand, and the way he went out, he just kind of like stopped, froze, fell over, and that was that. It was a really impressive fight for Jacasey. He's looked really good so far in the UFC, so I'd like to see him up against maybe either borderline top 15 guys or someone who actually is in the top 15 and see where he can work his way up from there, because he's got a lot of potential. Next fight was Leon Edwards versus Vicente Luque. Edwards looked really good in this fight. Luque is a very tough guy, so for Edwards to be able to beat him on the feet, did pretty good in the grappling exchanges as well, but his body kick was landing a lot, and that was really where he was able to score a lot and cause a lot of damage. The fight after that, another heavyweight fight that was completely boring. This was a battle of two top 15 heavyweights, and you wouldn't know if they didn't tell you. Between Timothy Johnson, who defeated Daniel Omielanchuk. Johnson, former Division II wrestler who wasn't really that effective in getting Omielanchuk to the ground. Omielanchuk is a guy with a striking background who wasn't particularly effective in keeping Johnson away or really doing a lot of damage to him. So, again, it just kind of shows the holes in the UFC heavyweight division. I think at some point they've got to figure out how they're going to get some better athletes into the division, because the guys who are in the top 10 right now are either really old or a lot of them are fairly unimpressive in terms of their athleticism. That's why a guy like Francis Gano, who's not exactly the most technical guy, is shining right now and is just rising to the top. The fight after that was Francimar Barros versus Darren Stewart. This was a rematch. The first fight, Stewart had, it looked as though he knocked him out with a headbutt, and on review they called it that, so it was a no contest. So Barros wins the decision 29-28 on all three judges' scorecards. And in the undercard main event, Joseph Duffy beat Reza Madadi by unanimous decision, outstruck him pretty much the whole time. Madadi was very game, but Duffy was much more technical and was able to use that to his advantage. Madadi was able to get to his shots and kind of work some wrestling in, but good job by Duffy to defend for the most part, and when he did go down, he got up pretty quick. On the main card, Arnold Allen defeated Makwan Amirkhani by split decision. I don't think it really should have been a split decision. I thought it was pretty clear for Allen, 30-27. And two of the judges gave it to him, 30-27. Amirkhani at his best, he was getting some submission attempts off his takedowns, but he wasn't really controlling a whole lot from the top. Even when he get on top, he really wasn't doing a ton of damage. The submission attempts didn't seem like they were ever that close, and once Allen got out, then Allen would get up and he'd start doing more damage and doing a lot more work. So I was kind of surprised to see it go to a split decision. But Allen looked really impressive, so it'll be cool to see where he goes from there. The second fight on the main card, and this one I'll get into a little bit later, was Marlon Vera defeating Brad Pickett in Pickett's retirement fight. The fight after that was Gunnar Nelson defeating Alan Jouban in the second round. Again, this one's another one that I'll get to a little bit later on in the episode. And the final one was the main event, which is Jimi Manuwa defeating Corey Anderson on a one-punch KO on the left hook that he kind of leapt in on and put him out, and didn't even need to follow up. It's just a walk-off KO. Really impressive for Manuwa. The interesting part with Manuwa is that he's in his late 30s right now. He's fought against two of the top four guys. If we were looking at the top four guys, you're looking at Rumble, you're looking at Gustafsson, DC and John Jones. He's fought against Rumble, he got knocked out. He fought against Gustafsson, got finished there as well. It seems as though he has he's had a lot of trouble against the top guys in the division, but he's been very successful against the guys who are beneath him. So at this point, I'm not sure what fight makes sense for him, because obviously Jones and DC, I don't know that he's quite yet deserving of a title shot. But if Jones isn't going to come back and take that title shot, Manuwa, I guess, would be the next guy there. He also called out a boxer, but nobody really cares to see that fight. I definitely don't care to see it.